Okay, so I'm going to do two videos here. One is how to understand how to think about critically about the sources that you're in based on this breaking news. So the breaking news is that there's a Ukraine spy master's wife poisoned. This is Budanov's wife. And Budanov is the head of the Ukraine Military Intelligence Agency, and his wife was just poisoned. Again, very breaking news within the last few hours. And I was working on something else about like what junk research looks like or junk news looks like. And in relation to Zelensky, this charge that they found his somebody who bought boats on his behalf, yachts on his behalf. And I was just going through that. And then this broke, and I'm like, I verified the sources, and I'm going to show you how to verify the sources as I tell you the story. So I'll do it in two parts because not everybody will want to watch the second part, although I would suggest that you do so that you can understand here's how to do it, here's not how to do it. Okay, so the first thing that I did when I saw this was verify it with a legitimate source. Here's Reuters, AP, BBC, even Al Jazeera when it comes to news about Ukraine is pretty solid. New York Times is reasonably solid. Now, are they biased in some ways? Certainly they have their biases, but are they solid sources that provide facts? Yes. Okay, so here's Reuters, here's BBC talking about it, and we'll go through some of the key points here, and then I'll look at some other sources and show you how I go about doing my process. So Marina Budanov has fallen ill, the source said, giving no further information about whether anyone else was being treated. The reports did not say whether Russia was thought to be behind the alleged attack. Now, where does your mind go? If you thought that Russia did it, nobody's going to fault you. And there's a reason that nobody's going to fault you, because when you think about it, who would generally do something like that? Well, if you weren't in this situation right now, you would look at the husband, the boyfriend, the ex-lover, that kind of thing, right? That's what would statistically make sense. Of all intimate partner female homicides in 2018, 92% of the victims were killed by a man that they knew. 63% were killed by current husbands, boyfriends, or ex-husbands. So, like, this is how the police will think through things. Like, okay, ex-wife has been murdered. Where's the ex-husband? Let's go talk to him. So that's the way that you should start thinking and processing as you go through this. But there's more to the story, because this is Budanov. Budanov is a wanted man by the Russians, of course. I mean, they want to kill him, and if they can't kill him, maybe they're going after his wife. Let's just think through this. The general who leads the main directorate of the intelligence of Ukraine's defense ministry has played a key role in planning and sometimes executing major military operations against Russian forces following Moscow's full-scale invasion in 2022. Okay, Ukrainian Pravda later quoted his own sources as saying that the poisoning had been confirmed after tests. Now, here's how you can tell that something's a solid source as well. It's not leading you to a conclusion, it's stating the facts that it knows. Ukraine spy chief wife ill in suspected poisoning. We think it's a poisoning. It's suspected. We didn't say that the Russians poisoned her, right? Look at the other article here. Ukraine says spy master's wife was poisoned. Was poisoned. Didn't say that Russia poisoned her. Okay, so they're telling you only known facts. Okay, let's keep going through here, and just a little bit more. She had most likely been given poisoned food, it reported, but was now feeling better after completing an initial course of treatment. So, here are some solid sources with the Reuters and with BBC. I'll even look at the Daily Beast and Fox News. Now, here's Daily Beast and here's Fox News. And I'm intentionally looking at different perspectives because that rounds out and helps you understand things. So look at these. Ukraine says someone poisoned food of their spy chief's wife. We don't know who, but someone. There is no indication of who attempted the poisoning at this stage, although, I mean, we're kind of like thinking it's probably the Russians. And they add, although it is a known tactic favored by Russia's GRU military intelligence. So let's go and let's look at this. This is what immediately popped to mind. Back in August, after Prigozhin was killed, 20 years of ruthlessness, how Russia has silenced Putin's opponents. And they've done it again and again through poisoning, and they've done it through shootings, and they've done it through falling out of a building, and all kinds of things. There's even a Wikipedia page about suspicious deaths of Russian business people from 22 to 23, just in these 2 years. And it goes through each one. Like, look at this is a list of suspicious deaths of high-ranking Russians who have been killed just in the last 2 years. And it looks at that was just 22. This is and 23, right? And so, you know, it kind of, the math kind of adds up that it's probably that direction. It's a favored tactic for Russians' GRU. I just spoke with Kirilo Askilovich. He confirmed the poisoning. He was quoted as saying and said that certain organs were affected. The poison is a type of poison that affects certain parts of the body. Okay, so that's the Daily Beast. Daily Beast is a very left-leaning paper in the United States, or magazine or internet source. And now here's Fox News. Fox News is a very right-leaning source as well. Ukraine military intelligence chief wife has been poisoned, reports say. Now, again, none of these, left, right, or center, said Russia did X. The Russian such and such alphabet agency did Y, right? They didn't say that, but they are. And now you're getting extra perspective. The extra perspective that I got out of the Fox News was this. The alleged incident happened weeks after the Russian government said it will pursue terrorism charges against Budanov and 3 other military officials in connection to drone strikes in Russian territory. Now, we already knew that Russia doesn't like the guy, but just this is interesting timing after that happens. So, what we know is that she has been poisoned, and we looked at legitimate sources, and I'm bringing this to you only after legitimate sources, and I looked at other sources as well. And if you suspected the husband, that would be normal, except for something other to expect, and there we are. So we know that Russia does this quite a bit. Now, I show you that to show you the process, because I want you to be informed. And I want you to think through this in such a way that you're informing yourself. And I don't want you, if you're conservative, to just rely on Fox News. And if you're liberal, I don't want you to just go to the Daily Beast and get your source from there. I want you to broaden the lens a little bit and think through multiple views. I'll say this as well. Now, I presented this to you, and I saw this. If you just Google Budanov poisoning, and if you just Google, you'll see plenty of articles about that. I wouldn't go over just one thing or somebody saying something on YouTube. And that's what I'm going to talk about next. Somebody said something on YouTube, and then I got picked up and picked up and picked up and picked up. So unless you're seeing that Reuters and BBC and Kyiv Post and Fox News and Globe and Mail and Radio Free Europe are all saying the same kind of thing, it's probably not verifiable. Last point that I'm going to say is, don't just believe me. Go and, like, if I say something, take that, like, okay, with my students, I say don't cite Wikipedia, but you can start with Wikipedia and look at the sources and then follow the sources out to places to then do your research. But don't just say, well, Wikipedia said. Same thing. It's just like that with me. Don't say, well, Dr. Gerdes said. Don't do that. Just go on and, like, if you see that I say it, you can verify that on your own, and please do. That's the way that you're sure that you're seeing things the right way. Okay, so if you want to stay with me in the next video that I was already working on was this. Zelensky caught buying a $75 million worth of luxury yachts. Really? Okay, so, and I go through all of these and explain why this is bad journalism, the way that it's done, and then it gets picked up and picked up and picked up and picked up. And so how to guard against that is what I'll be talking about in the next video. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention, the likes, the shares, the subscribes, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.